When my wife and I were looking for a house, we noticed something interesting. This one house looked amazing, beautiful property in a great area, and it was about half the price of similar houses in a similar area. It made us ask the question, what's the catch? Well, the catch was that while it looked amazing from the outside, the inside was a complete disaster. It was what you would call a fixer upper. And the deal seemed too good to be true because it was too good to be true. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Hey, everybody, my name is Joe Casabona. I'm the evangelist here at RSS.com. And recently we rolled out a free version of our podcast hosting called the Free Local and Niche Plan. This got us thinking about what makes an actually good free podcast hosting plan. The number one free podcast host is Spotify for creators. I always wonder, if there's a service that's for free, what's the actual product? How do they actually make money? And that's what we're going to uncover today with Spotify for creators. So we're going to go over the pros and cons of Spotify for creators. We're going to compare features with RSS.com. And at the end, I am going to go over a few times where it might be a legitimately good reason to try Spotify for creators and when you should go with a different free plan like RSS.com's or a paid podcast host. Let's get into it. Okay, so number one, the pros of Spotify for creators. The first is that it is actually $0. There is no cost to you for using Spotify for creators. At least there's no outgoing cost. You don't have to pay money to use Spotify for creators. They also have monetization options, so you can make money through their ad platform or their ad distribution platform, for example. They have native support for video. In fact, I've heard that they really prefer when you use video. So if you want to be video first, Spotify for creators might be an option for you. And they have native engagement features. Engagement for podcasts is really hard because most podcast players don't have some unified built-in engagement. So if someone is listening to your show or watching your video on Spotify, then they can comment, you can make polls available to them, and you can get generally good engagement, similar to what you can do on YouTube. So those are the pros for Spotify for creators. But what about the cons? Well, the first is that it's a walled garden. I'll get into this more in a little bit, but when you are on Spotify, they give you every incentive to stay on Spotify, and they also make it a little hard to leave Spotify. They have a high threshold for monetization, and to be fair, they have lowered this threshold. It used to be something like 10,000 listen hours, I believe. It's down to 2,000 listen hours. So it is easier year over year to make money on Spotify, but that is still a very high threshold for monetization. It means that you can't start a podcast today and be monetized next week. You have to wait because they want to make sure that you, who happens to be their product, is worth monetizing. On top of that, they take an astounding 50% of the ads. That is more than most dynamic ad networks. So even if you're not selling your own ads, the people who are selling them aren't taking 50%. Most people recognize that it is your content and you're putting in the work, and an automated system is serving up ads. So that is an astounding thing. And then there is the platform dependency. All those cool native features we talked about, like native video support and polls and comments, only work on Spotify, which means that you need to use Spotify if you want to keep using those, which cuts against the very nature of what makes podcasting so great. And there are going to be people who are like, well, it doesn't matter as long as people are consuming my show. And that's fine. But podcasting is one of the last bastions of like an open web where I don't have to worry about somebody just shutting down my account because they don't like this one thing I said or did, or it got slightly less enticing to monetize. Which, so I mentioned the walled garden of Spotify, but what does that look like in practice? Well, part of it is that, again, they're going to try to get you to stay with features. They're going to make it harder to move. They do give you an RSS feed, but they don't make it easy to find that RSS feed. They don't make it easy for you to distribute to other platforms. And if you're using video, then their analytics stay squarely on their platform. And you're really not getting analytics from other places. But it's even worse than that, right? In March 2025, they deleted a show called The Young God without any reason or warning. The show was gaining popularity, it was showing promise. He hosted the show for 7 years and they deleted it, and it was completely wiped off the face of the platform. No RSS feed, completely gone. And this is not an isolated incident. You might remember the last time I made a video like this, I told a similar story about a different podcaster where Spotify, probably some bot, deleted the show and she lost a ton of income. She lost her followers. In her case, they restored the show, but they couldn't restore the lost money. They couldn't restore the lost followers. This is the risk you run when you are on a closed platform. And we've seen this before, right? We have seen social media do this to people too. We've seen YouTube do it to people too. Channels getting shut down because of the capriciousness of some automated moderation system. With an open forum like RSS.com or a lot of other podcast hosts, you're not going to run into that. And here's another story about the walled garden where a podcaster or a company noticed that they were losing $1,000 after switching to Spotify video. This was around the same time last year. Because when you switch to Spotify for video, they completely replace your audio with the audio from the video. And again, that only is living on the Spotify platform now. So even if you upload a video to an audio only podcast, you're not going to see those stats anywhere else now. You're not going to be able to serve up your dynamic ads. And that was the problem with this story. They opted in to doing Spotify for video without realizing that the audio got replaced. And so they were losing a bunch of listeners. It was an untested program at the time with secretive math, as Amanda McLaughlin says here. And that's ultimately the real problem with a walled garden. It is secret math. Because the truth is, when a platform is completely free, they are going to optimize every way for them to make money on your content. And here's the other thing, right? As someone who's not necessarily a music industry expert, I know enough to understand that the margins of making money off of streaming music is not really great. But when Spotify is making money off of podcasts and they're not paying those podcasters royalties to stream that content, the margins are a lot better. So there are a lot of incentives for them to optimize how they make money with our content. Now, when we look at something like RSS.com, we also have a free plan, but there's a big difference because we make it really clear what you get for free and what you get for paid. And for free, you do get unlimited episodes, audio, a public RSS feed. We make it really easy to submit everywhere. You can add transcripts and share episodes. You get a website and an embeddable podcast player. You can even start making money on the free plan, and we're not taking 50%. In fact, with value for value, people can easily donate to your podcast. So we give you a lot of opportunities to make money on the free plan when you're ready, and you can upgrade to our $11.99 a month plan, as in $11.99. We make it really clear what you get. You can start making money from dynamic ads with as little as 10 downloads. Not 2,000 listen hours, not any number of subscribers, 10 downloads. Just to show that you're we want to know that you're a real person and you're not trying to game the system. But the barrier is as low as it could possibly be. You can also earn with Apple Podcast subscription. We do audio to video conversion, so we will take your audio and convert it into something that can be consumed on YouTube. And advanced analytics is the big one, right? So with the free plan, you get basic analytics with 90 days of insight. We feel that is enough for when you are finding your sea legs and trying to figure out what's working and not working for your podcast. And when you are ready to take it to the next level, you get advanced analytics on a longer time scale with even deeper insights. So we make it super clear. When someone visits the rss.com pricing page and they see the free plan, there's no asking what's the catch. There's no wondering if your plan is free, how do you make money? We put it all out there and show you how we intend to make money. We want as many people to get started as easily as possible. We don't want to take money out of your pocket because it is your content. And when you are ready to upgrade for more advanced features, that's how we make our money. So after all of that, when should you use Spotify for creators versus a different free podcast plan like rss.com? I would say if you want to be a video first podcaster, or if you want to be a Spotify platform influencer, right? If you want to be known as a Spotify person, Spotify is the way to go. But because companies like us at rss.com are rolling out actually free plans. As far as I know, rss.com is the only one that offers unlimited episodes and unlimited audio without the catch of a walled garden. Because we've done this, I struggle to recommend Spotify for creators the more I read about it. Because at the end of the day, they are optimizing for how they're going to make money. And we at rss.com are optimizing for how can we make podcasting as easy as possible for as many people as possible. So there you have it. That's our comparison of rss.com versus Spotify for creators. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to learn more and sign up and get started for free, you can head over to rss.com. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, I'll see you out there.